The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of ParaX, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
It's coming.
All these voices. All these voices.
They're mine. They're not yours. You had no right to them when you were alive, and you have no right to them when you're dead. That's what it sounded like. Good, you know who I am. And you know I'm not playing. You're going to let those women go. In Jesus' name, you're going to let those women go.
Is there a demon here watching us right now? Watching us right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Staring into the Abyss. I am your host, horror author James Hershey Jr., and with me, as always, my co-host, old boy James Ash. How you doing, brother?
I hope everybody's having a good night.
Tonight's going to be a very, very interesting show. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a very cool and very interesting and mysterious case. It is the Zigmund Adamski disappearance and death. Some people think that he was abducted by UFOs. Other people think the KGB killed him. There's a lot to it. I've got an article that I'm going to read to you real quick that talks about the case, gives you kind of some of the facts. But I looked at a bunch of different articles for this one, and there are facts that are left out of each one of the articles. So I just kind of picked one. After the article, I will give you a bunch more information about the case that kind of wasn't in the article, a few things they left out. And then we'll try to piece this one together and come up with some ideas of what we think it might have been. It should be fun. I always enjoy doing these shows. So without further ado, let's get to the article so we can get this started. Tonight's article comes from strangeoutdoors.com, and the headline is The Mysterious Disappearance and Death of Zigmund Adamski, Murder or Alien Abduction. Zigmund Jan Adamski disappeared June 6, 1980. Tingley, near Wakefield, Yorkshire, England. Body found June 11, 1980. Todmorden, England. Zigmund Ziggy Adamski was a 56-year-old miner who went missing in mysterious circumstances from his home on Hornfield Crescent, Tingley, Yorkshire, in the United Kingdom in June 1980. His body was found a few days later, some way from his home, with a mysterious green substance on his neck that couldn't be identified despite a thorough investigation by British forensic and pathology experts. It was to be an unusually strange case, with some theorizing alien abduction or kidnapping, and 40 years on, it remains unsolved. The coroner running the inquest into the death said that the case was the biggest mystery of his career. The Ziggy Adamski case. Zigmund, or Ziggy, had gone out to walk to the local shop to do some shopping on Friday, June 6, 1980, at around 3:30 p.m., and was never seen alive again. Ziggy worked at the nearby Lofthouse Colliery and was originally born in Poland. Like many of his fellow countrymen, he had settled in England, having been forced to flee his native country after World War II. He set up home in the West Yorkshire village of Tingley, became a coal miner, and in 1951 married Leocadia, or Lottie. When she became so ill that she was confined to a wheelchair, Zigmund needed to spend more time with her. His own health, too, was suffering, and he had been off work for several months, suffering from a lung deformity, often made breathing difficult as a result of exposure to coal dust. He had decided to apply for early retirement, but this was initially rejected by the owners of the coal mine. But this decision was overturned on appeal. Unfortunately, the reverse decision arrived in the post the day after he disappeared. His wife Lottie's initial suspicion was that he had been kidnapped, and Zigmund's colleagues at the coal mine considered his disappearance a complete mystery. Discovery of Zigmund's body. 5 days after he disappeared, on June 11, 1980, coal yard worker Trevor Parker found his body on top of a 10-foot-high pile of coal at his father's coal yard in Todmorden, around 20 miles from Tingley. He was wearing a suit, but his shirt, watch, and wallet were missing. On the back of his head, neck, and shoulder were mysterious burns. His clothes were said to be improperly fastened. Ziggy's hair had also been cropped short in a roughly cut manner. Strangely, there was no coal dust on his body or clothes, which would be expected, especially as it had been raining, and if he had scrambled onto the coal himself. It was like he had been placed there by someone or something. The coroner's inquest. James Turnbull, the coroner running the inquest into Adamski's death, told the BBC in 2003 that the case was the biggest mystery of his career. He was baffled because although Zigmund had been missing for 5 days, he only had 1 day's growth of beard. He said the question of where he was before he died and what led to his death just could not be answered. Turnbull also said a strange ointment that appeared to have been used on Zigmund's burns could not be identified by forensic scientists. Exhaustive checks failed to reveal any record of him having been treated at any hospital during his missing 5 days. The coroner recorded an open verdict, ruling that Adamski had died of a heart attack. But many were thinking what caused the heart attack in the first place, and how did he end up on a coal pile in Todmorden, 20 miles from his home, after an apparent shopping trip. What happened to Zigmund Adamski? Some speculated that Ziggy had been abducted by someone and killed for reasons unknown. Others believed he had been taken by aliens and his body dumped on top of the coal pile after extraterrestrials had experimented on his body. Others put forward theories that he had been killed by the Soviet Union's KGB, or had been left dazed and confused after being struck by ball lightning or some other unidentified phenomenon. The alien abduction theories were given a boost by Alan Godfrey, the policeman who had been called to the Todmorden coal yard when the body had been found. In November 1980, 5 months after the Adamski incident, Constable Godfrey had his own encounter with the UFO less than a mile away from the coal yard. The respected policeman made a sketch of the UFO and later, under hypnosis, told a story about being taken aboard the UFO and given a physical examination by 2 non-human entities. The policeman's UFO story made headlines around the world. In early 2018, Godfrey, now 70, told the Yorkshire Examiner that the story he told under hypnosis was probably merely a dream, adding, "I never said I was abducted by aliens. However, he believes it's possible that Adamski was taken by aliens. I am open-minded. I can't rule it out." He wrote a book called Who or What Were They? Godfrey doesn't believe Adamski was murdered, although he said a more senior police colleague in 1980 believed he had been killed and believes that he didn't die where he was found, but had been placed there by someone or something, adding he was on top of the coal pile on his back, with not a bit of coal on him. His eyes were wide open and he had burn marks. Why would he climb up a stack of coal? There was some ointment on the back of his neck. Samples were sent to a Home Office laboratory, which couldn't identify it. Parker and Godfrey said they would never forget the look on Adamski's face. Those eyes were staring up at me. I was looking down on him from a foot away. Those eyes sent a shudder down my spine. They were wide open. He had a look of someone who had seen something, or someone, that had scared him to death. Alan said, "I wish I had never seen the UFO, particularly because of the effects on my children. It's not easy having a policeman as a father, but when he's a policeman who saw a UFO, it's even worse." This was a huge turning point in Alan Godfrey's life. He left the police force and has a new role as a speaker at charity fundraising events. Alan Godfrey is in no doubt of paranormal presence. In the past 20 years, there have been many claimed sightings in the Pennine Hills around Todmorden. It's regarded as Britain's UFO hotspot, but serious UFO watchers dismiss most of these Pennine sightings as just lights in the sky. Neil Beecham, who in 1980 was a reporter on the Morley Observer, said Mr. Adamski's mysterious disappearance 37 years ago has always troubled me and is a topic of conversation for the tight-knit community of Tingley, even to this day. Some amateur sleuths have suggested that Ziggy may have been abducted by family members and held against his will. In 2008, 2 British UFO investigators looked again at the case. According to reports, they discovered that at the time he disappeared, Adamski was in the midst of a feud with a family member who was having marital problems and had moved in with the Adamski couple. They believe that Adamski's disappearance may have been an abduction linked to the feud. However, Alan Godfrey said, "We have no reason to suspect any members of the family." The coroner, James Turnbull, also told the BBC that he wasn't convinced by any of the theories relating to paranormal activity. The question of where he was before he died and what led to his death just could not be answered. And that is the end of this article. Okay, so that's the article. Gives you some of the basic information, a few things that need to be corrected or that were left out of the article. The article says that he only had 1 day's growth on his beard, but he had been missing a few days. He was actually missing for 5 days. And he only had the 1 day's growth. It talks about he was wearing a suit, but his shirt was gone, his wallet was gone, all that kind of stuff, and his hair was cut. He didn't have his shirt on. He had suit pants, but they don't know for sure if he was wearing a full suit and it got taken off for what was going on there. But he did not have his shirt on, and his wallet was missing and his watch. I don't think the article mentioned his watch. His watch was also missing. He did not have any coal on him. He was on top of a coal pile and didn't have any coal on him. And this was a big pile of coal. The best way to describe it to you, if you don't kind of know what one of those coal bins look like, it's not one of those little carts they bring the coal out on. It looks more like a big giant U shape. Okay? It's like what they make silage in on farms. It's a big thing. And it's just filled with coal, overflowing, piled way up. It's probably 20 feet in the air. So he climbed like a 20-foot mountain of coal and got no coal dust on it. That's another thing that was kind of left out. They talk about that he was feuding with his family. In the beginning, they thought that one of his relatives was getting married, and he was going to be giving away the bride, and he was very excited about that. And so they thought that there was no reason to suspect the family because everybody got along. They found out later that there was actually some arguing that was going on there. Now, whether it was enough to lead to an abduction or anything like that, who knows? But that's another correction that was made. And that's not really anybody screwing up. That was just something that they learned later on. The police officer, Alan Godfrey, he saw a UFO, and it was less than a mile from where Zigmund was found. And when he went in under hypnosis, they say that he claims that he had been abducted. Now, he said later on that he never said that, that he thinks it was just a dream or whatever, that it wasn't real, that what he said under hypnosis wasn't the truth, that it was just something his mind was creating, I guess. That could be just because he's old. I mean, at this point, when they're giving this interview, he's an old man, and maybe it was so long ago, he just thinks it was kind of crazy to think that. Who knows? I'm not going to try to put motivations or anything like that into this man's mouth. But those are some of the things that were a little bit different. They said he went to go shopping. He was actually going to buy potatoes to make dinner. They said that his wife got ill and was in a wheelchair, and he wanted to spend more time with her, so he applied for early retirement. That's not exactly the way it went. The way it actually went was she had progressed to the point where she was confined to a wheelchair, and she was having a lot of trouble doing things on her own. So it wasn't just that he wanted to spend more time with her. I'm sure he did. I mean, I'm sure he loved his wife and he wanted to spend time with her. But it was more of a case of he needed to be there to help take care of her because she simply couldn't do it on her own anymore. It wasn't just that she was getting ill and that she was in a wheelchair temporarily or anything like that. It was permanent. She wasn't going to get any better. She was only going to get worse. And his lung problems was most likely what they call coal miner's lung, and that would have eventually led to his death as well. And it could have been a contributing factor to his death here. I don't know what happened to the guy. I'll say that right off the bat. Okay, this isn't going to be something where I give you the answer at the end and you're like, oh, wow, what a brilliant answer. We'll go through it and we'll talk about it a little bit. There are several things that don't make sense here, that don't fit in with just an ordinary death. Okay, if he was just had a heart attack, okay, because of his lung issues, a lot of people that have lung issues and can't breathe very well, it puts a strain on your heart. And if you're in your 50s like he was in his mid-50s, and he had very bad lungs, a lot of times that will cause a lot of stress on the heart, and overexertion could cause you to have a heart attack. So if he was afraid of something, either somebody was after him or something was after him, and he tried to climb up to the top of that coal pile to protect himself, to kind of get away from it and get away, that exertion possibly could have caused him to have a heart attack if he had an underlying heart condition as well as the bad lungs. It's possible. One thing that's very weird about this one is the burns on the neck. Because they found the green substance that they talk about in the article was actually an ointment that was being used to treat the wounds. The wounds had started to heal, actually. And so whatever this stuff was, it was something that was being used to heal him, to fix his burns. But they sent it not just to the police lab, like the article states. They actually sent it to the top scientists in the country, in England, and they couldn't figure it out. Nobody knows what the hell this stuff was to this day. There's been multiple tests run on it. Nobody can figure out what this ointment was, what it's made of. They just don't know. They can't even figure that part out, of what the components of it are. So that's definitely weird, and that definitely makes you kind of go, wait a minute. Could this possibly be some sort of extraterrestrial thing? Because you've got him on top of a coal pile with no traces of coal on his body or his clothes. You've got him with a bad burn on the back of his neck, with some kind of unknown substance on his neck that's actually healing the burn. But scientists can't figure out what the hell this stuff is. Even after sending it off and testing it and doing the best they can to try to figure it out, nobody knows what it is. They can't even figure out what it's made of. So that definitely makes you think, it sounds a little bit like it might be some kind of extraterrestrial thing. Can we explain any of that? Does any of those things have a rational, logical explanation that we can apply? Well, the thing with him not having any coal dust on him or on his clothes. Yes, he probably would have got coal dust on him if he'd have climbed up that pile. But one thing that the article doesn't talk about, that was actually in the police reports and everything, is that he had been there for at least the majority of the day. Okay, so he'd been there for over 12 hours. Maybe more. Could have been the night before that it happened, and just nobody noticed him. But it was at least 12 hours that he had been there. It also rained very heavily before they found the body. So let's say he climbs up the coal pile and he gets coal all over him, the dust stuff all over him, and then it rains on him for hours, a very heavy, heavy downpour for hours. How much of that coal dust do you think is going to hang around? I mean, it's very likely that that stuff could have just washed off of him, just rinsed right off with the rain. So I don't really put the fact that he didn't have the coal dust on him as definitive proof that this is UFO related or alien related in any way. It's very possible he could have climbed up that pile. I think he probably did climb up that pile. Because if aliens, let's just workshop this. Let's think about this a minute logically. Let's say aliens snapped him up on his way to the store to buy potatoes. They take him up in their spaceship. They experiment on him. Something goes very, very wrong and he gets burnt badly or something. So they try to fix it. They try to give him some ointment on his neck to fix him up. Well, the pain of that and everything causes him to end up having a heart attack, and it kills him. Okay, so now they got a dead dude. What are they going to do with him? Right? Now keep in mind, these are extraterrestrials. These are aliens from another planet who were smart enough to build a spaceship and travel here from wherever the hell they're from, most likely another solar system at least, maybe even another galaxy. They're smart enough to go all that way, figure out how to do it, to get here. So they're way smarter than we are. But they're not smart enough to dump the body somewhere that it ain't going to be found for a long, long time. Now, they got a spaceship, remember? They could take that dude up to the top of Mount Everest and drop him off and nobody'd ever find him. They could take him deep in the Amazon jungle and drop him off and nobody'd ever find him. Remember from the reports from the Navy about how those UFOs move. They are super fast. It would take no time at all to zip over and drop him off anywhere they wanted in the world. They could take him to Antarctica and just drop him out in the middle of nowhere somewhere. Nobody would ever find the guy. There would be no evidence at all that anything had happened. He would just have disappeared. Why would you drop him on top of a coal pile 20 miles away from his house? Are they stupid? Or are they lazy? Well, they can't be stupid because they were able to get here. And I would say probably lazy people or lazy aliens don't get in a spaceship and travel across the galaxy to check out a planet. That takes some motivation and some drive. So I would say probably they're not lazy or stupid. So why would aliens just leave him there when they could drop him anywhere they wanted? It makes absolutely no sense. They could literally take him with them to space and just shoot him out into space. Nobody would ever know. We would never find him. So I don't think it was aliens at all. I think that is kind of a red herring. That's one of those things that sells newspapers. But I don't think it's what happened here. So, could it be KGB? That's another theory that's out there. I have no knowledge or no evidence, no information that tells me that this guy was involved as a spy at all with either MI5 or with the CIA or with the KGB or with anybody. There's no evidence that he was working with any of those agencies. So that makes you think, okay, maybe it wasn't the KGB. Or maybe he found out something he wasn't supposed to know. Maybe he had information that he was going to give out to people. And in doing so, he would really ruin a lot of very powerful people's time. And they decided, hell with that, we're going to take this dude out. Is that a possibility? Well, he's a coal miner in a little nothing town in a nothing burg of England. That's all he does. He's a coal guy. What the hell did he know? Did he somehow find out some top secret information he wasn't supposed to find out on the way from his house down to the corner store to buy potatoes? I doubt it. I don't see any reason for the KGB to get involved at all. Why would they do this? And then once again, just like with the aliens, workshop it. Think about it. If it was the KGB or MI5 or CIA or one of those alphabet kind of letter agencies, why the hell would they just leave the body laying on top of the coal pile there to be found like that? How does that make any damn sense? So I don't think it was any kind of three-letter agency that did it. I don't think it was a government that did it. Because they would get rid of the body. They would make it look like suicide. They would make it so that it was explainable. Okay, when they knock you off, you have a car accident. Or you hang yourself. Or you have a drug overdose. Or something like that. Or you just have a heart attack. Now, this guy had a heart attack, but he also had crazy burns on his neck. His wallet was gone. His watch was gone. His shirt was gone. His hair was cut all crazy. That tells you something was going on there. So that's not their style. They don't leave a mess like that. When they leave a body, when they do wet work, it's clean, usually. Unless they're trying to send a message, but what message? He's not public about anything, so nobody knows what he was into. So what message are you sending? None. So I don't think it was that. So that leaves family. Do you think the family did it? Well, he was feuding with some of his family. Weddings are a stressful time. There's a lot of tempers that get raised and flare, and we've all seen that show Bridezilla. We know how people act during wedding time. Is it enough to kidnap, torture, and kill somebody over? Probably not. Could it be that they were just trying to rough him up or something and things got out of hand? You know, maybe they were trying to torture him a little bit and it went too far and he got burnt, so they were trying to help him out and he ended up having a heart attack and dying? Maybe. But does that sound like something your family does to you when they're mad at you? I mean, I could see a crime of passion maybe. You're running your mouth. They're running their mouth. And then, boom, the situation explodes. They shoot you. They stab you. They punch you right in your mouth. You fall down. You hit your head. You're dead. Right? All those things I can see happening. I don't see abducting them, keeping them for 5 days, letting them shave, somehow burning the ever-loving hell out of their neck and shoulders, trying to heal that burn with some unknown substance, cutting their hair all crazy, then dumping them in public where they're going to be found like that, and then trying to make it look like it was a robbery gone bad. I mean, I think that's what the wallet and the watch was about. They're trying to make it look like, oh, somebody robbed this guy. They took his wallet, his watch, and left his body laying there. It's a robbery gone bad. It's a mugging. Now, how many muggers do you know drag your old ass 20 feet up a coal pile and leave you laying there all crazy? That don't fit neither. That don't pass the smell test, does it? So I don't think it was family, and I don't think it was a mugging or some kind of crime gone bad. So the only thing left out of the theories is that the dude had a heart attack. Maybe he had some kind of psychotic break. Maybe he went a little cuckoo. And he ended up hurting himself. Not intentionally, I'm sure. Nobody tries to burn themselves like that, but maybe he did. Somehow he got burnt badly, and he was trying to heal it. Went to somebody, and they tried to heal it. He didn't go to the hospital, though. That's weird, because the hospitals have no record of him. So maybe he's in this psychotic break and he's having hallucinations. Maybe from whatever the hell that substance was he put on his neck to try to heal the burns, maybe it's making him see things. He thinks something's after him. He scrambles up a coal pile and dies of a heart attack. And he's just laying up there. That's possible, but where would a coal miner find some kind of substance to put on his neck, especially if he's in some kind of altered state that nobody can identify? No scientists can figure out what the hell it is. That doesn't make sense either. So what happened to this guy? We know he's dead. I mean, there's no doubt about it that Zigmund Adamski is gone. He died, and he ended up on that coal pile. But how and why? None of the theories that they've given make any sense to me. None of them work. First of all, the one thing is the substance. That green substance, the ointment that they used for the burns on his neck. Nobody can identify it. Why? What is it made of? You would think that maybe they hadn't seen it before. They're like, I don't know what the hell this is. It's some weird stuff. Let's send it off and get it tested. And then they send it off and the lab says, oh, well, we've never seen it before either, but here's what's in it. It's got aloe, it's got vitamin E, it's got, and give a list of ingredients. And then you can say, oh, it's some kind of ointment that somebody made out of this stuff. That makes sense. We don't even have that. They have no idea what the hell this stuff is. That doesn't make any sense to me. That takes it out of the realm of the ordinary and puts it into the realm of the paranormal. And by paranormal, I don't mean ghosts and spirits. I just mean it's weird. It's not normal. It's outside of the ordinary. That is the key to this puzzle. If somebody figures out what that stuff is, there's a good chance you'll figure out what happened to this guy. I don't have that answer. I don't have access to it to test it. I don't have any tests that I could run that are going to be any different than what anybody else has already done. So I don't know what that stuff is. So that takes you back to, okay, if you have an unknown substance, where did it come from? That puts aliens back on the table, doesn't it? Maybe it's some kind of weird witch doctor or something that has some kind of weird medicine that nobody's ever heard of, made with ingredients that are unknown to science. That sounds awful far-fetched. I don't think that could be the case. So out of all of the theories, aliens kind of the only thing that fits for that substance. Unless it's just something that nobody's ever heard of before. That's weird. Very weird. Could it be something completely science fiction? Could it be that this guy stepped into a wormhole or something and got transported someplace else? To another dimension, to another galaxy, maybe all the way across the damn universe. Some kind of technology that we don't understand or that we don't know about. Wormholes exist. There's theoretical physicists are saying that it's possible if you can generate enough force to actually stabilize a wormhole and use them to travel from point A to point B in space. So if that's what the top astrophysicists are saying, then maybe it's possible. Theoretically possible, at least. If it was some sort of alien culture that came here, right? Some sort of ship filled with extraterrestrials. Maybe they have access to that technology. Maybe they use that technology to travel back and forth. Maybe they don't have to fly all the way from galaxy to here. Maybe they just zip through a wormhole and get here. If that's the case, maybe they were just here visiting. And they left. And this poor guy just walked right through the wormhole after him and didn't even notice. He wasn't paying attention. Maybe he was thinking, man. Maybe he had something on his mind. He was thinking about his wife being in a wheelchair, and he just got denied for the early retirement. Oh, man, that sucks. What am I going to do? And his mind is occupied. He's not watching where he's going. He walks right through the wormhole, ends up there, their planet. That's where he gets burnt. That's where they try to help him. Maybe he wakes up because whatever burns him, the pain knocks him out. So they're trying to help him. He wakes up. He freaks out because he's in this completely alien place. Nothing looks familiar. Everything's crazy and weird. He's in a lot of pain. He's all jacked up. Maybe they took his wallet and his watch and everything and his shirt off because they're trying to work on his neck and they want to get all of his stuff out of the way. Maybe. Maybe they took his wallet to see who the hell he was. Try to get some idea of who he is and where he came from. So maybe he wakes up and he's freaking out and he takes off running. Right back through that wormhole. Maybe they follow him. Because maybe he does something stupid before he leaves. Maybe he attacks somebody that's trying to help him or guard him or something and he runs. And they chase him. And that's who's chasing him. That's why he's trying to get away. And he climbs up that coal stack to try to get away from these things. And he's scared. And he's in pain. And he's overexerting himself and he has a heart attack. And he dies up there. They say, well, he's gone. He's dead. So I don't know what the hell we're supposed to do now. I guess we go home. Rains like hell. Washes all the coal dust and stuff off of him. Maybe that's what happened. It's as good a theory as anything else that anybody else came up with. At least there's no glaring logical holes there other than the fact that it's aliens. But I think we can all agree that aliens most likely exist at this point. So now we're just arguing over semantics. Are wormholes real? Well, we know they're real, but are they used as portals? Maybe. That seems to be what the top scientists are saying. So if they're saying it, and there's data to suggest that it's possible, then maybe that's what happened. As crazy as it sounds. We went through all the other explanations, and none of them seem to fit. I'm not saying this is the right one either, but sounds good to me. Let me know down in the comments section when this hits YouTube what you guys think. I'm going to throw it over to Old Boy now and see what he has to say about all this. See what he thinks of it. Maybe he has a better idea than I do about what happened to this guy. Maybe he's got a theory that I haven't thought of. Or maybe he sees a hole in my logic somewhere. So, Old Boy, go ahead, brother.
Thank you, James, and I hope you guys enjoy the show. Something different. And I'm going to tell you what my opinions are and what I think happened and we can talk about more about alien abductions. So Zigmund, he was found 20 miles away from his house with some kind of suit without like his wallet or his shirt with burns on his neck. and green substance on his neck too, or something I was reading. In Yorkshire, west of Yorkshire. He was a coal miner, and he was going to retire, and they originally said no, and then he appealed it and got it. So I'm going to have an opinion on it where that kind of gave me a light bulb thought. So he was from Poland, and he lived in the UK, and his wife was in a wheelchair, and he wasn't too healthy himself. He had lung problems, but he worked in a coal mine. So he had lung issues, so he wanted to retire early, and he tried to, and they wouldn't let him. They denied it. So he went to and appealed it, and the appeals listened to it, and they appealed it, and he won. But a day before they told him that he won his appeal, he was found dead 22 miles away or something like that. And he never goes to this town where they found him. So some people think he was abducted by aliens. Or in the autopsy, I think it said that he had a heart attack, but most people don't believe that. He was like, stayed to himself. He was taking care of his sick wife, and all of a sudden, he just dies. 20 miles away in a weird coal mine stack, or he was found on a pile of coal or something, 20 miles away, granted. Looked like he was burnt on his neck. He had green substance, so they think something happened to him. Here's my opinion. There's a possibility he was abducted. That's not impossible. There's also another theory I have. So I want you guys to listen to this one and see what you guys think. Do you think there's a possibility he was murdered because he wanted to retire early and he lost, and then he went to court and made it a bigger deal and he won? Well, they knew he was going to win, so they took care of him, or he knew something, maybe more than what he said, just because his lungs were retiring, his going bad or stuff, and he was working in a coal mine. I don't know if you guys, I live in Pennsylvania, so I know that's a big thing there, and I know I had family and friends that used to do it in the past, and I remember them hearing stuff about it. I know you can't breathe too well when you're in there, because coal is nasty anyway. It gets in your lungs and it can kill you. So it was probably slowly killing him. It causes you cancer and all kinds of other hazards. Asthma, all that other good stuff, you know, guys. Mr. Adam Surkowski, that's how you say his name. It was his last name. I think it's kind of funny when he wanted to retire early and they denied it, and then he won the claim, he ended up dying. I kind of put that together as that maybe they took care of him. Because back then, I think it was years ago, people were different. Maybe because he fought it and was saying something about the job. Maybe I'm just giving an idea. I don't think that 100% happened, but that's a possibility if you think about it. So I was throwing it out there. What do you guys think? Leave in the comments. Tell us what you think. That came up as a red flag when I was reading the article about it, and I thought that was kind of weird. That kind of play, you know, that kind of, you got to think about that a little bit. Not saying that's 100% fact. I'm just saying that putting things together, what I was reading, it is kind of funny. After he won his appeal, he died. But there's a lot of alien abductions happening everywhere. So, you know, maybe they did get him. Did some kind of weird experiment and he died. And then they made it look like it was an accident. Maybe some people think the KBG killed him. The Russians, for some reason, I don't know why people would think that, but I read a little bit about that. That's another theory, that because he was born in Poland, I know that, by the World War II or something like that, because he was an older gentleman. So maybe they found out he was withholding some information and they just knocked him off, or he's hiding from them or something. I don't know. You never know. That's another theory that I was reading about. I threw the other one in because that kind of, you know, a light bulb comes on when you magically die after you appeal a retirement, an early one, and I guess they didn't like it too much. So, you know, that's a possibility if you think about it. I'm going to tell you what my opinion is and what I think happened in a minute. And then I'll talk about other alien abductions, and we can talk about leading up to other shows in the future, not the past. Tell me what you guys think, what you think happened. Leave in the comments. We love hearing from you guys. We love hearing everything you have to say. It gives us more stuff to talk about. I don't think we're ever going to run out of stuff with the paranormal and all the stuff we do, crypto and conspiracy theories. And this is like an alien conspiracy theory because it's still unsolved. They still haven't been able to solve why he died and how he died. So I understand that, and we're trying to find out now. We'll probably do another episode down the line, 1 year, one day. You never know when you're listening to us in 2080. So this is my opinion. So I hope you guys like it and tell me what you think. I'm going to give 2 different things I think happened. Actually 3. I'll do the first one. 1, he just had a heart attack and he died. Might have got burns on the neck because he was laying on, working, and he fell on the coals when he died and he burned his neck. Don't think that happened, because why would he be 20 something miles away? Here's what I think happened. 2 things. That's the third option. The second one is maybe he was abducted by aliens. Maybe they did some weird experiments to him and burned him, because I've heard of other stories like this, like Fire in the Sky. They put him in these weird suits and they did all these experiments on him, and maybe that's what happened. They did an experiment, he died, and they tossed him right there. That green substance and all these weird burns on his neck, but he didn't have any blood or anything. It was weird. It was just a weird situation. That could be a possibility. I'm not going to draw that out. I think that's a big possibility, but here's the big one. I also think he could have been killed by these people. This is a different country. You never know. I'm not saying they did it. This is a theory. Maybe he was pushing. Maybe he knew something. That's why he really wanted to retire early, because he did have lung problems and his wife was older and sick in a wheelchair, and KBG thing. I don't know. It could be a possibility too, but maybe he pissed these people off and he was talking too much. Maybe he was talking, oh, I'm going to sue these people. And then he did, and he wanted a pill. And then it was funny, the day before he was going to find out he was dead. I think that's a possibility, guys. He was murdered. Or he could have just died. Weird things happen. He might have been out with a friend, or maybe he was just out there exploring or something, and he just fell over and had a heart attack. That's what they say. I don't believe that. Why 20-something miles away from a place you don't really live? You know, you're always in this other place, and then all of a sudden you're in another place where you die. I don't know, man. I think there's kind of some foul play there. Or the aliens got him. One way or another, it doesn't sound like he just died of natural causes like they're trying to say. Something bad happened to him. Zigmund Adamski, it's a hard way to say his name. I don't want to ruin it, but tell me what you guys think. That's what I think. I think there was something bad happening with the aliens. They just, back then, just got rid of him, did what they had to do, or he got taken care of because he was suing people. You never know. It was a while ago, so it wasn't new. The article was from like 2020, 21, I think. So it was a couple years back. So never know, man. Like, could have messed with the wrong people. I don't know. They didn't want a lawsuit, or maybe he was going to come out and say that, because he didn't get his retirement, he was going to come after him or something. You never know what happens. You never know how people are, especially with money. You never know how people are going to react and what they're going to do. So I don't know. Like I said, what do you guys think? Let us know. So tell us what you think in the comments. Like always, we always like to hear from you guys. Tell us what you think happened to this man and how he disappeared and just died without a trace, 20 miles away from his house. After everything I've told you and what James has told you, what do you think happened? Foul play, aliens got him, just died of a heart attack, KBG, spy, whatever. I'm just throwing out everything that could happen. That's just theories. I thought maybe, something different than what the article says. I've gone a little bit on that, but I kind of have my own theories on it. And that's just my theories. I don't know what James is going to say yet and what his things are. And he probably will tell you. He's already said it a little bit already. But, I think he made his final verdict just like I made mine. He'll probably talk a little bit more in a couple minutes. This is just my opinion. I don't know if it's real or true or what happened, or, I'm just going by what I read and what I've researched. So on that, that's what I think. Let's get into alien abductions. Abductions. Sorry, I say words sometimes and they don't come out right. Sorry. I'm only human sometimes. I'm just kidding. I believe that happens though. I do believe that's happened a lot. Crop circles. I mean, I know people fake them and they've proven that, but not all of them are. Weird cows getting killed with like laser and there's no blood in them at all, and goats and all kinds of other stuff, just like not just the chupacabra, but they're finding goats were like cut in a certain way, but there's no blood. It's real weird, and they have burns all over them. And I've heard that happen with other people, burns and found dead in weird ways. I don't know, like combustion. Remember, we need to do a show about that, but where people just burn. They said it's possible. I can't say the word combustion. And they just turn on fire. Well, maybe that the aliens just burned them from with a beam. I'm just throwing an idea. I don't think I believe that. I'm just throwing just a theory. Maybe what happens is the aliens go after them and they're not, something doesn't work or they didn't like it and they just kill them. Said screw it, isn't worth it. We'll just burn them. And it looks like they just turned on fire. You never know. I'm just saying this theory out there. That's just an opinion. I believe that it happens all the time. Aliens take people and they abduct them and do weird experiments to them, cut them, put them in weird suits. I mean, I've seen, Fire in the Sky. That was a weird movie about that. And if you guys want to see it, check it out. It's about alien abductions, sorry. And they all took lie detector tests and passed. Every one of them. There was three or four of them, maybe 5. They all passed the test numerous times. I want to do a show about that, Fire in the Sky. That's a great show. It's about this kind of stuff, what we're talking about. I believe it does happen. I believe aliens do exist. I believe they do experiments on us. I also believe there's some that likes us, and I think there's some that absolutely hate us. The reptilians are one of them. That's a whole nother, we've done a show about that. Check us out on Staring in the Abyss. We've done reptilians, and I have my opinions on them. But that's just my opinion. I think that maybe that's what happened to Zigmund. He got taken up, and then they did some weird stuff to him and killed him. Maybe it's the ones that you don't want, the Greys or something. I'm not saying they're bad. Not all aliens I think are bad. I think there's bad in everything, just like human race. There's bad in everything. So that's my opinion on that, alien abductions. Abductions. I'm trying to say it right, guys. Sometimes, like I said, I had speech problems when I was a kid. I've learned to work on it, and sometimes some words are just very hard for me to say. I apologize. Don't take it personally. It's just me, your buddy old boy. And I know, look at this go. This freaking beard's getting long. I'm probably going to trim it up, guys. Sorry to get out of the subject, but just wanted to show you. Look at this, guys. Remember how I used to look? I'm going to be 45 next month, so getting old, man. I think when I started, it was about 38, 37, 39. No, yeah, 38, 39. Now I'm in my mid-40s. Crazy. James is going to be, I think, 49, 48, somewhere here. 40 and 49 next year, so he's 48 right now, so I'm getting old, guys, but still look beautiful for being so old. I'm just kidding with you guys. But back to what I was saying. Sorry, I want to make the show fun, guys, where we're not just boring the hell out of you guys with facts and information and research. I like to make the show fun too, and that's what I try to do. That's what I think. What would you do if you were abducted? How would you deal with it? Would you be scared to death? Would you tell anybody? Because you would think people would think you're insane or crazy and you're just making it up to try to become famous. You know how that goes. With just like paranormal and crypto, everybody wants to be famous. Not everybody, but a lot of people do. Same thing. Aliens. Oh, I got abducted. Oh, I've seen them. You know, I want to be, you know, be on some show or something. If I got abducted, or I've seen aliens. I mean, not aliens itself. I've seen spaceships, and I've seen stuff that I couldn't explain in the sky. So I believe it could happen. It's not impossible. It's impossible to have all these planets and nothing there, and universes. Now they're even finding more universes, and even farther and farther away. It's just the truth. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody thinks or says. I believe that there's other planets, and there's other different people and aliens and creatures and animals and just different things than what we have. I think if it happened to me, I probably would say something. I don't care what people think. They already think I'm crazy as it is, and James, so, you know, why not? They're all, you're just trying to do it for your show, and, you know, you want to get views and be on TV. No, I don't. Honestly, guys, if we get on TV, and we might, there's a big possibility on that. If we don't, oh well, we'll still do the show. It doesn't matter to us. We still love doing it. That's what it is. We love doing this. You know, we get a thrill. It's so fun for me to talk about stuff that I've loved since I was a kid. This is my dream, and I get to do it. And I work with a famous horror author. It's a dream job. And I love it. I love entertaining you guys, and I want you guys to know that. I know I'm going off subject, but I wanted you guys to know that I enjoy doing these shows. I probably would never... I don't know if I would tell anybody. It would make a good show. I think I would. I wouldn't care what anybody thinks. Like I was thinking, I was like, yeah, no. I don't care. They could make a movie out of it. I don't care. I don't think it would scare me, but it'd be kind of weird. You don't know what they're going to do. They could kill me. You never know. I don't think that would happen. I think they do pick certain people, and I think there's reasons for that. And I don't know yet why, but I think there's reasons why they pick certain people. I don't think they just pick everyone. Oh, yeah, we're just going to... They know how our DNA is. They know what we are. They've been here for thousands and thousands of years. They know who we were thousands of years ago. They know how to deal with us. So I probably would tell people. Crazy as it sounds, I don't know what James would do. I would like to hear it. And what would you guys do? Would you say anything, or would you just shut up? Would you be too scared that they're going to come back and kill you or take care of you like people believe? Just disappear? I don't know. Just giving theories, guys. That's just an opinion I have. I think that's probably what happened to this gentleman. That's a possibility. Or the other theories I have, the other two, naturally died, or somebody killed him. KBG, or the people he was fighting in court over his appeal. Maybe here's another theory, maybe he pissed somebody off and they killed him. Just didn't like him, killed him. Maybe he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Never know. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed what I had to say. I hope you guys enjoy what James has to say. I hope you guys enjoy the shows, because I love you guys. And I love doing this, and this was a cool show. Something different. Because we talk about paranormal a lot, man, and I'm kind of glad we're going away a little bit. Because I deal, we have Tales of the Abyss, so we deal with this all the time. I deal with the ghosts, demons, all whatever you want to call them, shadow people, spirits, entities. It's just something different. I love doing it. So that being said, there you go, brother. That's my opinion. That's what I think. So I would love to know what you guys think. Good night, guys. And I love you. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I did. It was something different, something new. I hope you guys are having a good May. It's almost summertime, guys. I hope you guys have been all right. Just so you guys know, we are now on Spotify. Check us out. Staring into the Abyss on Spotify now. YouTube, Parax Radio, pretty much almost everywhere except Apple, and I think we haven't been on Google yet. I think that's coming. So, you guys want merchandise, you know where to go. James will tell you. If you guys want to listen to our new and old shows, go to James Hershey's YouTube page and subscribe. Thank you for following us on Parax Radio. Sunday nights, 12 a.m. Eastern, 9 Pacific. The Best Of Show, Tuesday nights, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. I love you guys. I hope you guys have been loving the shows we're doing. We're trying to do new stuff all the time. I hope you guys are enjoying it. We love you. Misfits, your ladies, monster lovers, and demon hunters, we love you, and blessed be.
Thank you, brother. Well, first I'll answer the question that you asked. You said you wanted to know what I would do. I would fight like hell. That's what I would do. First of all, the majority of people that get abducted don't remember being abducted until they go under hypnosis, and then they remember. So I would have no memory of it unless I went under hypnosis. But knowing the kind of person that I am and knowing how I approach everything and how I act on cases and investigations that we do, I guarantee you I'd fight like hell. If these things grabbed me and tried to take me somewhere, I would fight like hell. I'm not saying I'd win. They have superior technology. So most likely they would do whatever the hell they wanted to do to me. And there's not a whole lot I could do about it. But I'd put up one hell of a fight. I would definitely let them know I was there. So that's what I would do in that situation. I'd probably still get experimented on. I'd probably be worse off than a normal person, actually. Because a normal person would be scared and they wouldn't fight. And they would be controlled and they would do whatever they were going to do to them and let them go, probably. But me, I'm going to fight with every ounce of my body. Every ounce of my spirit, every ounce of my soul. I'm going to fight. So I'm not going to hold still. I'm not going to cooperate at all. So most likely it's going to go badly for me if that ever happens. So probably I'd end up dead or very severely injured or maimed in some way. But that's my answer. I would fight like hell. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know down in the comments section when this hits YouTube what you guys think. Let me do some shameless plugs. The YouTube channel is youtube.com/James Hershey Jr. That's where everything is. That's where you can find every episode of Staring, every episode of Tales, every episode of Paranormal News, and a bunch of other stuff. So go there, check it out. It's 100% free. Subscribe, hit the like button, hit the little notification bell thingy, all that stuff. If you're listening on the radio, thank you guys. Appreciate you. Check out the YouTube channel. It's pretty awesome. If you're listening on YouTube, thank you guys. Love you. Thank you for your support. Also want to let everybody know that Staring is now on Spotify. So right now we have probably about 40 or 50 episodes up. I'm working to get all of the episodes of Staring up on Spotify, but it's a very time-intensive project to do. So I'll be uploading older episodes of Staring as we go. Every week the episodes of Staring will go onto Spotify, though. So you'll be able to watch it on YouTube. You'll be able to listen on ParaX Radio and all the affiliates. And you will be able to now also listen to it on Spotify. So if you're a gamer like I am and you like to play video games, I like to listen to Spotify when I'm playing video games. So now you can listen to Staring while you're playing Madden or playing Evil Dead or baseball or whatever the hell you play. You can listen to us while you do it. That's pretty cool. So thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for listening and for all your support over the years. We've been at this for a long, long time. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. Love you. And I'll catch you on the next one. Till I speak to you again. Love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do we. Bye-bye.